The reason you reach for a tissue every spring may be a gift from someone you will never meet, someone who died out 40,000 years ago. When scientists sequenced the DNA of Neanderthals and Denisovans, they found something strange hiding in our own genomes. A cluster of immune genes inherited directly from those extinct cousins that still shapes who gets allergies today. The condition we treat as a symptom of soft, sanitized modern living turns out to be, in part, a hand-me-down from the most primitive humans in the story. Let me show you how that happened. Welcome back. Today we're going to ask a question that sounds simple and turns out to have no clean answer anywhere on Earth. Did ancient humans have allergies? To get to it, we have to take apart something you've probably been told is broken, your own immune system, and find out what it was actually built to fight, because the answer is not what you'd guess. Let's get into it. First, what is an allergy, actually? Because almost everyone gets this part wrong. When pollen drifts into your nose, your body doesn't treat it like a harmless speck. It treats it like an invader. A specialized antibody called IgE locks onto it, and that signal sets off cells packed with chemical weapons. They rupture. Histamine floods out, and your body does something that looks insane. It tries to violently expel a flower. The sneezing, the streaming eyes, the swelling that's not your body failing. That's your body succeeding at a task. The real question is who assigned that task and when. So, picture a bodyguard, trained from birth to fight one specific enemy, drilled for years, wired to react in a fraction of a second. Now imagine that enemy is gone, and the bodyguard is still on duty, still scanning every room. That is the system living inside you. And that's where the story gets strange. Here's the part that should change how you see your own body. The standard story says, allergies are the price of modern softness. Too much soap, too little dirt. A life so clean our immune systems got bored and turned on us. There's a sliver of truth in there. But the framing underneath it, that this is a uniquely modern weakness, a flaw that natural ancient humans never had. To carry falls apart the moment you look closely, because ancient humans almost certainly carried much of the same allergy-capable machinery you do. They weren't immune to it by being tougher or purer. The genes were already there. What was different wasn't their hardware. It was the world that hardware woke up in. And to understand that world, you have to see what their immune systems were doing all day. Because they were not idle. They were at war. For most of human history, the immune system had a full-time job, and it wasn't pollen. Think about a forager, 10,000 years ago. She kneels by a river, pulls a fish from the cold water, and eats it raw. Threads of parasites still in the flesh. She sleeps beside a fire that fills her lungs with smoke, and beside animals, kept close for warmth. By every modern standard, her body should be a disaster. And in one sense, it was, but not the way you'd think. We know what was happening inside people like her, because we found it. Preserved in fossilized human waste, from caves tens of thousands of years old, to the settlements built by the people who raised Stonehenge, researchers keep finding the same thing. Eggs. Worm eggs. Roundworm, whipworm, tapeworm. In some ancient populations, most people carried them. By medieval times, in some samples, it was everyone. Now here's why that matters. That antibody we talked about, IgE, the one that flags pollen today, didn't evolve for pollen. It evolved to fight exactly this. Large parasites, worms, things far too big for a single cell to swallow. The whole violent toolkit, the flooding, the swelling, the expelling, was built to make a body an unlivable place for a parasite. So picture that forager's immune system. It isn't bored. It isn't hunting for something to attack. It is fully, constantly occupied, locked in the exact war it was designed for, against an enemy that is genuinely there. There is no spare attention left over to overreact to a flower. The bodyguard has a real intruder to fight. That, more than anything, is the difference between her body and yours. But there's a piece of this that lands much closer to home. The clearest proof we have isn't ancient at all, it's living. Take two farming communities, genetically almost identical, separated only by how they farm. One lives pressed close to animals, in homes thick with barnyard dust. The other farms at an industrial distance, and the children raised beside the animals develop asthma and allergic sensitivity at a fraction of the rate, in some measures 4 to 6 times lower. Same genes, Different world. The immune system that grows up surrounded by microbes, and dirt and living things stays calm. The one that grows up clean goes looking for a fight. I want you to sit with that for a second because it quietly changes everything. The thing we call the allergy epidemic may not be a new sickness at all. It may be an old, perfectly functional system left without a job. And there's a deeper layer. Some scientists argue the allergic response was never only about parasites. They think it began as a bodyguard against poison venom, toxins, spoiled food, a fast, brutal reaction to vomit it out, sneeze it out, swell up around it, and survive. In the lab, the same cells that fire during an allergic reaction measurably help animals survive snake and bee venom. This is still debated, and the honest researchers say so. It's one theory among several. But if it's right, then the reaction that can kill you in an emergency room over a sesame seed is the direct descendant of a system that once kept your ancestors alive in the grass. And those genes from extinct cousins? They didn't survive 40,000 years by accident. They were kept because once, they helped people live. So, if ancient humans weren't sneezing helplessly at pollen, was their world some lost paradise of perfect health? No. And this is where we have to be honest. Their bodies paid in other ways. Look at ancient skulls, and you can watch a change happen slowly, across thousands of years, as people stopped wandering and started settling. The sinus cavities show it. A worn, pitted signature of chronic irritation that climbs steadily as humans crowded into villages, breathed indoor smoke, and packed in close with animals and each other. Forager, farmer, city dweller, the damage rises at each step. Now, a careful scientist will stop you right here, and they're right to. That bone damage can't tell us it was an allergy. Smoke, infection, dust, many things leave the same mark, and we can't pull them apart. So it isn't proof of ancient hay fever, but it tells us something just as important. The real turning point in our relationship with our own immune systems wasn't the modern era at all. It was the day we stopped moving and started building walls around ourselves. So did ancient humans have allergies? The most honest answer is the one no skeleton can fully confirm. They carried the same ancient machinery you do, but they lived in a world that kept it busy, kept it aimed, kept it sane. Your allergies are not a malfunction of modern life. They are an ancient survival system inherited, in part, from people who vanished 40,000 years ago, doing exactly what it was built to do, in a world it was never built for. Your body isn't broken. It's out of phase, still standing guard, still scanning, for an enemy that, for you, simply never comes. So I want to hear from you. Do you live with allergies, and does it shift anything? Knowing the system behind them might be older than your whole species? Tell me in the comments. I read all of them. And if you want to understand another part of your body still running ancient software, in a modern world, I've already got the next one ready for you.